Every year on April 16th, the world comes together to celebrate the power and beauty of the human voice. This is World Voice Day, a day dedicated to raising awareness about the importance of the voice and vocal health. World Voice Day was established in 1999 by a group of Brazilian otolaryngologists and speech language pathologists. Their goal was to highlight the importance of the voice in our daily lives and to promote vocal health and education. The voice is not only our primary means of communication, but also a powerful tool for expression and identity. World Voice Day reminds us to take care of our voices and appreciate their significance in our lives. It is also a day to raise awareness about vocal disorders and the importance of seeking professional help if you're experiencing voice problems. World Voice Day is celebrated in over 50 countries with various events, including concerts, workshops, and seminars. In the United States, organizations like the American Academy of Otolaryngology host events to educate the public about vocal health. Here in the Philippines, World Voice Day is celebrated with concerts, voice clinics, and public lectures. It's an opportunity for Filipinos to celebrate their rich musical heritage and the unique beauty of the Filipino voice. Whether you're a professional singer, a teacher, or someone who simply loves to sing in the shower, World Voice Day is a reminder to cherish and take care of your voice. This year, the West Visayas State University College of Medicine, along with Med Symphony and Medical Student Council, celebrate World Voice Day by performing songs from Disney movies that we love. Throughout its history, Disney has continued to produce memorable songs that have become timeless classics, capturing the hearts of people around the world. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow once said, "The human voice is the organ of the soul." For teachers, the voice is the organ of our livelihood. Teachers are indeed a high risk group for voice problems. Teachers use their voice with high intensity, use it in a long time, in noisy classroom environments, sometimes without amplification, nor without any suitable breaks. More often than not, teachers start and continue their careers without any voice training. Teachers are 8 times more likely to suffer voice problems than other professionals. 60% of all teachers will have some complaints of vocal problems, with 50% of new teachers almost experiencing it already in their first year of teaching. 33% of teachers have to take time off to recover from a voice problem. And sadly, 10% of them will stop teaching because of voice problems. These voice problems will ultimately affect the teacher's livelihood. In the Philippines, there are more than 1.2 million school teachers, majority of them overworked and are paid behind the national living wage. Voice problems indeed significantly impact their economic status. The human voice comes from an organ called the larynx or voice box. The larynx is like an instrument, like this clarinet, for example, that needs blowing of air to vibrate its reed. This is much alike the human body, where air is blown by the lungs and it vibrates the vocal folds in the larynx to produce a fundamental human sound, where it is further shaped into a meaningful voice by our throat, tongue, nose, and lips. How do we produce voice? Up in the neck over here, we have what we call the vocal folds. It is situated in the larynx. These are the vocal folds inside the larynx, and when air is blown into the larynx through the trachea, the vocal folds will vibrate just like this one, and this will produce sound. This is an endoscopic view of a real human larynx. The vocal folds, which vibrates the air, are seen in white. Everything is red and this is white. So let's take a look. You can see that the larynx is vibrating. The vocal folds need certain conditions in order to produce a good voice. If the vocal folds cannot meet these conditions, there will be hoarseness. These conditions are good vocal fold approximation, favorable vibratory properties of the vocal fold, and a normal vocal fold shape. First, the vocal folds should approximate in the midline. Simply said, the left and the right vocal fold must meet in the midline, leaving just enough slit for sound from the lungs to vibrate. Failure to meet in the midline makes voices breathy or raspy. Let's see the normal vocal folds. You see it is meeting in the midline. The left and the right is meeting in the midline. In this example, we can see that one vocal fold is not moving while the other one is moving. And this is what we call a paralyzed vocal fold. And a paralyzed vocal fold cannot go in the midline.
Say E. Okay.
Good. Do this. E. E.
Okay.
See, this
Good.
is
Do
moving,
this.
and this is not moving. This is an example of a teacher's nodule wherein both are moving but they do not meet in the midline because of a nodule present in the vocal fold.
Look for it. I denken.
So they cannot meet in the midline because of this vocal nodule over here. The next condition for a good voice is a favorable vibratory property of the vocal fold. Simply said, once the vocal fold meets in the middle, the vocal folds themselves should vibrate in a normal, organized way, just like this one. Lesions in the vocal fold will not allow normal vibrations, resulting into hoarseness. So you can see that the vocal fold vibrates on its own in the midline. So this is an example of lesions in the vocal fold which does not allow normal vibration. This is a mucus retention cyst. In this example, you can see that the cyst appears
Right
on
there it is.
the
It's a
left vocal
mucus
fold,
retention
and this
cyst
does not
with an
allow normal
epithelium here.
vibration,
Mucus louder with high.
resulting into hoarseness.
Okay, louder with high.
As you can see, it is not
Okay,
vibrating.
that's for the segmental.
And this is another example. There's a mass in the right vocal fold, which prevents the vocal fold from vibrating. And you can listen to how hoarse the voice is.
Good. Okay.
The third condition is that the vocal fold should have normal shape. The vocal fold must be thin and its edges must be straight and parallel to the other vocal fold. Any changes in this shape, we will expect hoarseness. So in this example, you can see that the vocal fold is not straight and it's not parallel when it's in the midline, resulting to a very big gap, and there is a resulting breathy. And in this example, we can see that the vocal fold has a jelly-like mass on one side and the other is also very inflamed. So it looks like a polyp in the vocal fold, and this is what we call Ranke's edema and present in smokers. The usual suspects in vocal fold problems in teachers are viral laryngitis and teacher's nodules. Viral laryngitis is a condition wherein the larynx becomes inflamed because of an upper respiratory tract infection, such as common colds or the flu. The vocal folds are inflamed and red, and this results to hoarseness.
Good. Breathing again. E.
You can see here that the left vocal fold is very red and inflamed compared to the right. Another usual suspect of vocal fold problems are vocal fold nodules. These are bumps on the vocal folds from overuse of voice, much like the calluses on the soles of the feet from too much walking. Since this is usually found in people who uses their voices in prolonged periods of time, some doctors call it the teacher's nodules or singer's nodules. Listen to the voice when you have bumps in your vocal fold.
Sound effects like a jump in pitch, as suddenly only half the vocal cord is because the front and the back sections may vibrate at different pitches.
Voice disorders may come in different forms in different people. Some may have raspy or hoarse voice, difficulty changing the pitch, frequent urge to cough, losing voice while speaking and singing, feeling of a lump in the throat, tiredness in the voice, throat pain, feeling fatigue after speaking for some time, taking more effort to speak. Causes of voice disorders may be categorized into two. First are external causes, causes which external factors outside the body affects the vocal folds. For example, an upper respiratory tract infection, smoking, dehydration, caffeine, alcohol, and allergies. Since these are external causes, these are really preventable. The second category of cause of voice problems is internal. Internal causes are causes of hoarseness stemming from the vocal folds themselves, and it can be summarized as abuse and misuse. Vocal fold abuse happens when a person is engaged in excessive talking, too much forceful coughing, and frequent throat clearing. Vocal fold misuse is the improper use of voice, such as speaking too loudly or at an abnormally high or low pitch. The prime example of vocal fold abuse are like teachers talking the whole day, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. This is an example of misuse, wherein if a singer tries to reach notes that he is not trained on, but does it anyway. And this is an example of misuse where some singers try to perform songs that are out of their tonal range and they resort to just shouting or just singing really, really loud to compensate for the lack of reach.
What can I get you?
I'd like a large coffee.
Okay, so hot coffee.
Hot coffee.
Okay, room for cream.
Totally leave room for cream.
Why are you talking like that?
Why are you talking like that?
Because this is my voice?
This is my voice.
No, it's not. I heard you talking a minute ago. I know you don't talk like that.
Neither do you, because nobody actually talks like this.
In this example, you can see that the girl is talking abnormally at a very low pitch, which is beyond her normal tonal voice. This is sometimes called the vocal fry, and this is really, really harmful for the voice. Voice care can be simplified into three parts. First is vocal hygiene. This is how you take care of the vocal folds before using it. Voice conservation. This is how to avoid effortful, wasteful, and destructive use of voice. And the last is voice rest. This is how to rest the vocal folds once hoarseness sets in. Let's talk more of vocal hygiene. First is adequate hydration. One should take 6 to 8 glasses a day. Also, we advise sips of water to avoid throat clearing, and steam inhalation also helps. Avoid smoking and drinking alcohol, and limit the intake of coffee and tea, as well as medicated lozenges and antihistamine, as they try to dry out our vocal folds. The vocal folds should be a little bit wet, and we also advise to avoid irritants such as chalk, chemical fumes, etc. We also advise to avoid sweetened fizzy drinks such as cola, milky drinks, chocolate, yogurt, and other dairy products, as well as avoid eating heavy meals before going to sleep. These too will stimulate acid production and reflux, and this will have an effect on the vocal folds. Let's talk about vocal conservation. To avoid wasteful efforts of the voice conservation measures should be observed. One such measure is efficient talking. Whenever talking in prolonged periods of time, such as teaching in class, one should put effort to talk as efficient as possible. Talking slow but sharp, avoiding repetition, and taking good amount of breaths in between. This is what we call pacing in speaking. It is also recommended to have voice naps following the 2:1 rule, wherein for every 2 minutes of speaking, one should consider taking 1 minute of voice rest. If you can see in this diagram, this is the correct way of pacing. Although the first diagram here follows the 2:1 rule, however, one speaks for 40 minutes straight. It is easier for the vocal folds if one speaks for 10 minutes, then take a break for 5 minutes, then talk again for 10 minutes, then 5 minutes. And this is actually what pacing is. The second measure for vocal conservation is redesigning teaching. In order to conserve the use of voice, teachers should consider to organize teaching time and teaching strategies way before class is started. Teachers should also encourage student participation in their classes, and audiovisual aids can be used to minimize voice explanations. Pre-recording of teaching materials is also encouraged, especially if teaching material is repeated often in several classes or repeated every semester. Just like a video recorded lecture, to avoid talking beyond one's comfortable voice volume or intensity, to obtain a wider classroom reach, a teacher is strongly advised to use amplification, like the use of microphones and lapels, like this one. Teachers are also advised to avoid teaching in noisy areas, as there is a tendency to compete with noise by talking a little more loudly, and thus you are affecting already your vocal folds. The use of bells, clapping, and colored signs to get attention of students is more preferable to speaking loudly. Other efforts to decrease the vocal efforts of teachers include: when teaching, position yourself in the classroom that makes it easier for students to hear you. Walk around while teaching, or arrange the chairs and tables of students in shapes that will likely to get the most reach of your voice, like a circle or a semicircle. Consider coming closer to students when giving instructions rather than increasing your voice for them to hear you. When you're already experiencing hoarseness, do not compensate by talking louder. For some teachers, they have embraced the saying, the show must go on, even though they are already hoarse. This is a big no-no. This will lead to even more severe hoarseness, even to the point that the vocal problem becomes surgical in nature. Instead, rest your voice immediately. The voice will recover faster if you rest it earlier. Waiting for hoarseness to become more severe before taking your voice rest will make the recovery much more longer. According to scientific evidence, 3 days of absolute voice rest is the most effective way to bounce back to a normal voice. And absolute voice rest means no talking at all times, even if your house is burning. If you think voice rest is not helping, you can visit any ENT laryngologist, or speech therapist for advice. Here are my tips for voice hygiene for teachers. First is warm up your voice for 5 minutes. Just like any muscle in the body, your larynx also needs to warm up before every class. These are some examples on how to warm up your voice. Voice the mm, in one breath. Second is do lip trilling up and down the scale. Third is humming or lip trilling to songs on the radio. Second are relaxation techniques. Our voices echo our emotions. For example, we stutter when we are panicking, or we often have a very shaky voice when we are frightened. The same goes when we are talking in class. Our voice will be very relaxed if we ourselves are relaxed. So before going to class, be sure to relax from emotional stress. Relax when speaking, take breaths, release tension from face and jaw, and do cooling down exercises and a warm drink every after class. When we are relaxed, our vocal folds are also relaxed. And when they are relaxed, they are less prone to damage. Compare that to a very, very tense voice every day, which will end up being damaged more. Practice correct standing posture will improve breathing. An upright, non slouching posture will maximize lung capacity, and thus, more air is available for voice production. So, this example, this is a good standing posture, and this is the lung capacity. Compare the lung capacity in those people who slouch. It tends to have less air than those who are standing upright. This is the reason why seasoned singers stand straight on their sets. Next one is practice breathing techniques. Proper breathing techniques will result into more air to vibrate the vocal folds. Just like singers, use your whole belly or your diaphragm for breath support whenever speaking, and avoid upper chest breathing as this has less air available for the vocal folds and you will tire easily. If you if you could see in this example, if you use your whole belly and diaphragm to expand your lungs, more air will be available compared to an upper chest breathing that only limits the lung capacity over here. And proper breathing techniques is one of those that voice coaches really emphasize. Use the optimum pitch when speaking. Avoid speaking at a lower or higher pitch than your usual vocal range. This would strain your vocal fold and it will lead to damage. Just speak at your most comfortable pitch. To know your optimal pitch, try saying hmm, hmm. Again, hmm, hmm. The second is your most comfortable pitch. Stick at this pitch when you are going to teach for a long time so that it will avoid long-term damage. And again, don't disregard voice rest. Get to know when your voice is starting to feel tired and rest it immediately before you suffer more serious problems.